What up, what up, what up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to do a quick review of the entire season of Hulu's The Other Black Girl. I just thought I'd get a quick little review in right quick after I just finished doing my review of the premiere of Baddies East on Zeus Network. And I was like, I really like this show, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Okay. So, anything I say, my opinion, does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. These are my thoughts and expressions and how I feel. I'm not being biased. No one's paying me to do anything. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's a simple and free way to support my channel, and it literally takes less than 4 seconds. So if you're spending 4 seconds watching this, you could definitely hit the like button and the subscribe button, because I don't only review this show. I'm not a public speaker, so I will tend to stutter. I might pause and regain my thoughts. Definitely gonna hear like and so like 1,000 times. It is what it is. Yeah, and I got my water bottle right here. I usually have a big one, but it's frozen, so I'm just drinking a regular water. Anyway, I wanted to talk about The Other Black Girl on Hulu, the entire season. So if you haven't seen The Other Black Girl on Hulu, turn this video off right now because I'm about to spoil the entire season. So I just wanted to talk about how good this show was. I usually grade my episodes before and after my reviews. Since I'm doing a whole season, I'm going to, I told you I'd be stuttering. Since I'm doing a whole season, I'm going to grade this jump an A+. It was very good. The show is very good. I recommend you watch it. Well, you should have already watched it if you're watching this, but it was very good. From episode 1 all the way to episode 10. So the show is basically about a girl named Nella who works for a book publishing company named called Wagner Books. And she's the only black girl working there. Black woman working there. So she's an assistant trying to be an editor. She's like an assistant editor or something like that. She's trying to be like a full-time editor. So she works for like under a full-time editor. Her boss name is Vera, who was played by Melly Grant. Was that her name on Scandal? The one that played the president's wife on Scandal. So she playing her boss. So this black girl, she there is always, weird racist stuff. And it's this book that their biggest client is writing, and it's a character in the book that Nella's not feeling. She feel like the character is super problematic for black people. So she tells her boss Vera this. Vera tells her not to say anything about it. Like, just say you love the book. So Nella's struggling with, I want to speak up, but I don't want to lose my job for, like, speaking up. So while she's struggling with this new black girl comes to work there, and her name is Hazel. And apparently she came from working in Harlem with underprivileged kids, and she got this organization, Young Black and Lit. So she comes in there, and her and Nella immediately hit it off. They have their whole little black girl chat. The white lady that's in there, that's her boss. That's Hazel's boss. She felt so left out. It was funny. So they hit it off immediately. Nella went home, told her white boyfriend. I was kind of gushy she had a white boyfriend, but he turned out to be cool. I ain't saying it like that, but I was just like, if y'all gonna do this type of show, she gotta at least have a brother. But he was cool. He was cool. And she had a best friend that was I fucked with her best friend. Her best friend was cool and shit. She rode for her, and she was down for her. She knew something was up from the beginning. This show was weird. So So Nella, she went home, told her white boyfriend, told her best friend, like, it's a new black girl at the office. We hit it off immediately. And what's her name? Her best friend, Malika. She wasn't even jealous or nothing. She wasn't even jealous. She was just so happy for her. Like, you need some melanin in your life. She's telling her that. I know you need melanin in your life. But she was so happy. So first day, this girl Hayes was there. So Nella tells her about, the big client wrote this book. It's this character in there, super problematic. And Vera wants me not to tell him that it's about the character. Just tell him that I like the book. So the girl Hazel, no, you need to stand up. That's our people. If you ain't gonna stand up for us, then who will? And I got your back. So the next day the big client come. Hazel brings up the book out of nowhere, and Nella decides to tell him how she really feels about the character. Super problematic. This character is dangerous for black people. Da da da. So it's super awkward now, and they asked Hazel how she liked the book, and she like, "Oh, I love the book. I didn't see anything wrong with it." Totally threw her under the bus. So we already not liking Hazel. We already not liking Hazel. So we already not liking Hazel, and I was not liking her. I didn't care. So I was just like, that's just not cool. So. And I'm usually rooting for the dark skinned sister, but I was like, nah, I'm rooting for this light skinned sister right now. Not saying it like that. But I was just like, come on, man. So she came in there and did her dirty on the first day. So Nella immediately not fucking with her no more. She go home, tell her boyfriend, her friend, why would she do that? Same day Nella gets a note saying leave Wagner now. And the reason why Nella and Hazel wanted to work there because back in 1988, it was a black female editor that worked there, and she was the only one that worked there. And her book went they book sold for a lot of money. Her and her best friend. Her best friend was the writer, and she was the editor. She was the only black editor there, so that's why they wanted to come here. So from the beginning, Nella been, and all their pictures are in the wall. So every time she see the black woman's picture up, the black woman's picture would be saying stuff to her like "Leave Wagner now." So she finally get a note in her desk saying "Leave Wagner now." So back to work as usual. Hazel's still trying to talk to Nella. Nella's not fucking with her. So then, as the midst of this whole character that Nella don't like is going on, she suggests to Vera that they get a sensitivity reader or something like that. People that look at the book and be like, okay, this shouldn't go there because this is sensitive to this and this is sensitive to that. Sensitivity trainer, whatever that's called. So she suggested it. Vera said, yeah, maybe, and then she ended up just burying the sensitivity read because they was telling her they had to take too much out. But before they did that, Vera went in. They had a whole meeting, and Vera stood up and was like, "Maybe we should get a sensitivity trainer," and tried to make it seem like she suggested it, and Nella didn't. So Hazel got up and was like, "Well, didn't Nella suggest that?" And Vera was like, "Oh yes, she did. I just totally slipped my mind." So now Nella back cool with her because she stood up for her and did that, and then Hazel took her to a party that they weren't supposed to be at, but it was like all the up and coming editors or whatever you want to call it type party. And she ended up running into their big boss, who she ended up having a conversation with him about doing a book release of a famous book from back in the day. So he was like, we're going to talk about it in my office. So she was so happy Hazel did all this for her. One day Hazel shitted on her, then the next day Hazel did all that for her. So her and Hazel back cool. So she like, I want you to meet my friends. Malika is not fucking with Hazel. She still ain't fucking with Hazel. So I ain't gonna say too much else, but basically the craziness happens when the woman that wrote the book, Diana, from back in the day, they bring her in because it's the release of her book. It's the 35th anniversary. So it's parts in the book that the woman that was the editor, Kenny Ray Phillips, she was the editor. And it was parts in the book that she wanted in there that Diana didn't put in there because she was sleeping with the big boss, Richard, that's working over Nella and them now. So it's just a whole situation where Diane, Richard, and Hazel are using this grease. This is all about this grease. They put in these women here and they make them believe that they can do anything. And they end up doing it. Like working in Congress and in the mayor's office and the White House, all that types of stuff. And they trying to get Nella. They just trying to get Nella. But Malika and Nella and her boyfriend Owen, they find out in time and they shut that shit down. But they don't shut it down because they trying to figure out how to stop it. So Nella went to this black podcast dude who's like all about, black people or whatever, trying to get him to sign with the book company. But he's like, hell no, y'all hella racist. No, we not doing that. I'm not doing that. But then all of a sudden, they have the book release, and he's there, and his hair is done, and he's like, "Oh, I'm signing with the book company now." And Nella's like, "They got to you." So it's a whole bunch of craziness. I ain't even get to the nitty gritty of it, but all in all, that show is crazy, and it ain't even over because at the end, They try to get Nella. They kidnap Nella. And then Kenny Ray Phillips comes back out of nowhere because she been missing. So she comes back out of nowhere. She been missing. And she saves Nella from Diane and her and Hazel and they little minions or whatever that they done already greased up. And she tries to take Nella out of state. Nella like, no, I'm not going down like that. We got to take them down. So as she tries to sneak in to get the podcast dude's manuscript that they supposed to be publishing because he's assigned to them, Hazel catches her in the bathroom and gives her some grease and just like, just do it, and everything will be fine. And Nella like, I'm not selling my soul. So then the next day she come in with her hair done. So they falling for her. They like, oh, you put the grease in. So they falling for her. She back in the company. She the new editor in chief or whatever like that. And as soon as everybody go about their business, she go in her office and call her friends. And they done kidnapped the dude that do the Black Card podcast. They probably gonna experiment on him, try to figure out how to reverse the grease. And she was like, I'm in. So she in there pretending. So I'm just wondering how the season 2. It better be a season 2. They better get renewed for season 2. The show is good. The show is very good. I reckon I probably gotta watch that joint again, but I watched it. It was good. It was very good. A+. That was my review of the entire season. that wasn't even the whole gist of it. But that was my review of The Other Black Girl on Hulu. Thanks for watching. Comment below what you thought of the entire season or any episode or whatever. What you would grade this entire season, because I graded an A+. What you would grade it. I know people do ratings. I do grades. I would grade it an A+. It was so good. And yeah, if I forgot to talk, well, I forgot about all that, so we ain't even gonna talk about that. But yeah, your favorite parts, all that good stuff, comment below. And like and subscribe, because like I said, I don't only review this show. I review other shows. I gotta do The Shy after this. I gotta do Power Force after this. So see y'all in the next review. Peace.